Hi again, guys. So basically we want to look at these two new really cool things coming out. The one is the Hexo Plus drone, and the other one is the AirDog. And basically the thing with these two is that they're very similar in the sense that they will follow you. They've both been on Kickstarter. They've made well beyond what they've asked for. They're doing very well with that. The AirDog is supposed to be coming out first, and the Hexo Plus comes out, I think the AirDog is in November this year, and the Hexo Plus is in May next year. Now there's some subtle differences between the two. Even if you haven't bought them, or I think Hexo Plus is allowing pre-orders, I don't know if AirDog is, they may be, because the Kickstarter part is closed. Even if you want to wait and buy them later, let's just talk a little bit about the technologies and what they do and why you might want to go for one more than the other. So let's just start talk about money. Money wise, the AirDog is more expensive than the Hexo Plus. The AirDog is a quadcopter, whereas the Hexo Plus is a hexacopter. Okay, 4 blades versus 6 blades. The orientation of the blades on the hexacopter are very cleverly designed so that the arms are tilted slightly forward. That means that when the whole structure is straight, it will be actually going forwards. Because in reality, because this is for action sports, it's not going to really be hovering in one spot. It's going to be moving forwards most of the time. So it is a very clever design in that sense, because it keeps the whole thing balanced a little bit better. Okay, I don't know the layout of it internally or the CG, all of that, so that's a small thing on there. The AirDog is a quadcopter, and it's very interestingly designed, because what they've done is they've put the 2 motors upside down, and the back ones are right side up. You can do that. I think the reason they did that is because that one is foldable, and it will allow you to fold in the motors more easily on that design. But interesting, it'll work. There's no problems with that. The hexacopter of the Hexo Plus is said that it will be foldable. Now they haven't shown how. I don't know if the arms are just removable, or if they fold downwards or upwards, or what the story is. But I do not see it being as compact as the HexoDog quad, because that one really folds into a box. With the hexacopter, it's not really possible to do that unless you can remove the arms. So, you know, pluses and minuses. As far as flight time, they're both saying that they will get about the same flight time depending on your setup, anywhere between I think about 12 minutes up to 20 minutes, or maybe 25 minutes, I don't know. Now I can tell you from experience that the longer flight times are going to happen without the GoPro camera. Okay, which means you're reducing the weight by quite a lot. As soon as you add the GoPro camera, your flight times reduce quite drastically, and if you add a stabilizer, even further than that. The weight itself makes a huge difference on the flight time, and every 100 grams makes quite a bit of difference. Of course, flight style makes a difference as well. So it really depends on how fast it's moving and what you're doing. So in that sense, that's quite something to look at. A lot of people like to claim, you know, long flight times and that, but reality is it depends on a lot of things. So it's difficult to judge. I will say that it is safe to say that it's probably going to give you at least 10 minutes of flight time with a GoPro, with a stabilizer, irrelevant of your flight characteristics, as long as you don't obviously expect it to go to ridiculous altitude, which you won't, because this is one of those follow ones that follow a specific person doing some kind of action sport, so it's not going to be one of those high altitude types. Alright, now let's look at the technologies themselves. At the moment, the Hexo Plus is still using the wireless dongle, as I call it, or the wireless technology on about 900 megahertz, or 413 megahertz or so range that you can just buy, and they plug it into an Android device and it follows them in that manner. Now what they're saying is that they're not going to need that dongle or that whole link of 900 megahertz or 400 megahertz anymore. They will use, if I'm not mistaken, Wi-Fi signal from any cell phone where you have their app on there. They say that it will also be a lot better with the connecting and the updating and all of that. Now it's quite a bold statement, and they haven't done it yet, but I'll be interested to see how that goes. But we've seen other people use Wi-Fi signals to do this, so it's not really anything new. The AirDog, on the other hand, uses what's called an air leash, which is basically a little device that comes and you can strap it around your arm. It is waterproof. I don't know to what depth, but it is waterproof, and basically that it'll follow that. They say that in the future they will also have an app where it will also follow in the same manner as the Hexo Plus, but that's not part of what's coming out at the moment. Now there's advantages and disadvantages to both. Okay, Hexo Plus says that no, you can't take your cell phone or device, whatever it is, into water, obviously, because it's not waterproof, but there are waterproof cases for cell phone devices like that, so you can actually buy that and add it on. The AirDog, on the other hand, already has that for you, and it's a separate device. You don't have to worry about your phone. Now, a lot of people would worry because they use their phone in their everyday lives for other functions, and they might not want to use that for something where it may get damaged, so they'd want something completely separate. On that note, you could say, well, they can buy a separate phone or whatever device to use, but now it's a lot more expensive to do that, and if you add that cost, then you're already nearing the cost of the Hexo, of the AirDog with the air leash that it comes with. So it sort of goes back and forth. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but there's definitely considerations to be made on all of that. Even if you were to get a waterproof cover for your device, that in itself is rather expensive. I think the cheapest ones I've seen are about $90, and that was for an iPhone. Also Samsungs and all that. So you're already spending more and more money. As far as I understand it, the AirDog comes with the GoPro stabilizer, a 2-axis stabilizer. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but you know, so you've got to take that into consideration because with the pricing. So it's not that far apart, and I can tell you that the Hexo Plus, they must be getting some kind of special deals from the suppliers, because if I just took the electronics involved that they're using, just the basic electronics, it comes out to slightly more than what they're already offering in the package. So they must be getting really good prices from the suppliers, and we already know that the once it hits the market, the price is going to go up. So you've got to take all that into consideration. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about the technology. Guys, this thing is actually, there's nothing new about it. Both of them are using the Pixhawk PX4 unit, which is made by 3DR or 3D Robotics. There's a lot of knockoffs, but they basically all do the same thing, and what they have is a follow mode. They can also, the APM module can also do this, but not as well as the PX4. PX4 is really optimized and much better for follow mode. And basically follow mode can be activated through different means. Like I said, you've got the 900 megahertz or 400 megahertz links that you can have with a computer or with a smaller device, Android device or something like that. So it's nothing that is actually new. It's there, it's available. What is new is some of the programming that they're adding to it. Okay, for example, a lot of the control parts where the Hexo or the quad is going to sit, how far away is it going to be from the person. They're playing, as far as I know, they're playing with the algorithm so that the follow would be a lot faster. So what I mean by that is that, let's say I start moving, there's going to be a lag between between when this processor is sending the signal to say, okay, I've moved away, to the processor here saying, okay, I've recognized it, let's move. So there's going to be a bit of that lag. What they're doing is working on those algorithms to make it faster. And since this is open source technology, programming, anybody can do this. So yes, it is quite something different, and it's really only the programming that they're doing something new about. A lot of people got very excited over it, and they're like, wow, it's amazing new technology. It isn't new technology. It's been around for many years. In fact, even before the PX4, the whole follow mode's been around for many years, but the programming is where it's important. Now, there are some worries as far as the programming, because the videos that I've seen on Hexo Plus were not done using any of that programming. Those videos were shot in manual mode. Okay, it is very clear that it was shot in manual mode to anybody that knows anything about the way these things work. So they haven't actually got the programming done. They haven't actually got all the bugs out, and which is why they're saying they're coming out in May next year. What they've done so far, from what I've seen on their website, is they've been able to program using an app and the 900 or 400 megahertz module to be able to move the Hexo to different angles around a person and different distances. Alright, as far as the speed of the follow mode and the distance and all of that to be kept as constant as possible, they've not optimized that yet. As far as the AirDog's concerned, it's a little bit more difficult to see what they've done. They don't post as much, but they also have, I've seen them basically have a follow mode now with their own air leash. So now I think they're actually a step ahead of the Hexo Plus, because they're no longer using the technology that you just buy off the shelf. They're using something completely separate. Alright, so pluses and minuses to both. I wouldn't say to get one or the other. I'm not saying not to buy it. For my personal experience, because I've already done I've worked with a lot of quads and Hexos and all that. I've already used follow mode, and it's not something that I use a lot, so I wouldn't go buy this straight away. I would rather wait and see how it pans out, how the technology expands, and then take it from there. Anyways, I hope this has been informative between a comparison between the two. I'm looking forward to them coming out both in November this year for the AirDog and the Hexo Plus in May next year. And with the final products, which they say they will keep on advancing on and making better and better, with certain director cut type application where you can program the Hexo to do certain maneuvers while following somebody. But that'll be very, very cool to see what comes out of it. The reality is that all of this is in the programming. Anybody that learns a little bit about programming can do this. It is a lot of work, but it can be done. So if you're interested, it's something to look into. But as soon as they come out, I'm going to try and get both of them on camera and see a comparison of what they've come out with. I think the fact that the Hexo dog is coming out earlier is going to be a bit of advantage for it if they can deliver. So we'll see how that goes, and both of them for that matter. Again, I hope this has been informative. If you guys got any questions, post them below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.